Hello, everybody. How y'all doing? I hope your weekend has been going well, especially here in the States with it being a Memorial Day weekend. Today is a day for us to remember all of our fallen heroes, and there's actually two of them that I always think about on this day every single year. It's both of my grandfathers. Both of them served in World War II. The one, he served in the Pacific Theater in the Navy, where he had been injured. Also, unfortunately, I don't know a whole lot about him. I met him once when I was a baby. He died when I was like about 7 years old, something like that. So, yeah, I never got a chance to know him. My mom never really knew him very much either. But that's another story as to the reason why. So anyway, but the my other grandfather, one on my father's side, I did know very very well. Knew him my whole life, and we were very close. And he actually served in the Atlantic Theater. Started off in he was in the army. Started off in North Africa, moved on to Sicily, and then he was pulled over to England to train for D-Day, where he had been. Yeah, he was basically part of the second wave that stormed the beaches there. And for the life of me, at this particular moment, I can't remember which beach he was on. I believe he was on Omaha, if I remember correctly. But anyway, yeah, he survived D-Day, and then he 10 days later, on June 16th, that's where he received his first injury in the shoulder, basically right over here. And he had shrapnel in there all the way up until he passed away. And then it was my understanding, after my father and I had done a little bit of research, that during those days, if the men were injured in battle during that time, even if it wasn't a very serious injury, they would hold them back. Basically let them do desk duties and so on and so forth. And for whatever reason, they were holding them back. And I think they were kind of anticipating later on in the war, as things progressed and so forth, and the pressure was put on Hitler and everything to reinstate them. And I think that's what they were intending to do. So that way they would have their seasoned veterans in the front lines to do those final pushes forward. That's my theory. I don't know what the reasoning was, but anyway. So yeah, he when things did get rough later on, with the Battle of the Bulge, he was put back into action. And he was there, made all the way into Germany to the Rhineland, and that's where he received his second injury. That's actually where he lost his eye and also part of his jawbone over here on this side. So that happened on April 16th, about 3 weeks before the war ended. So yeah, and it's kind of weird anytime I see pictures of him before he lost his eye. It's very strange for me to see those pictures, because I always remembered him with the glass eye and everything. So, but yeah, it's always kind of strange to me to see him, even with his eye patch before he was fitted with the glass eye. It's kind of strange for me to remember or to see him like that. So yeah, I always I'm very proud of him. Receiving two Purple Hearts and so forth. And yeah, and he never really talked about the war. He thought it was dishonorable, actually, to discuss things with the war. There was one thing that he did let slip out at one point, which I won't share, to protect his beliefs and so forth. But yeah, I in some ways, especially now that I'm older and I have a better grasp on it, I did, I was always interested in his service. I was really I was actually the only one of the grandchildren, and really the only one of his sons. He had four children, all boys. I was really the only one who was ever really interested in his war war service. But yeah, and he did make an ultimate sacrifice also. I don't know when his stepfather passed away. I know his father passed away when he was just a baby. He died around the time he was born, so he never knew his real father. Excuse me. And he wasn't very close with his stepfather either. They had a very strained relationship, but he was close to his mother. And unfortunately, she passed away while he was going through rehabilitation in El Paso. And I don't know if he actually had an opportunity to see her before she passed away. It was like he got back stateside, and it was like about just a few months later, basically, and she passed away. So, yeah, I'm not too sure if he got a chance to see her before that time or not. So, but yeah, and he had one sibling, an older sister, 2 years older than him. And so, but yeah, I always like to think of them on this day, not just because of Memorial Day, also because his birthday is also at this time. I believe it's on the 28th. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it's on the 28th. And I also like to think of him also on this time because of my own birthday is actually Veterans Day, and something my grandfather, the one I was just talking about, was very very proud of to have at least one descendant who was born on one of those on one of the 2 days, and I happened to fall on Veterans Day, which is of course November 11th. So yeah. But yeah, I just thought I'd share a little bit of family history and so forth and what I like to do on Memorial Day and everything. I know a lot of people, it's like, oh, it's the unofficial start of summer, this and that and everything. But for me, it is a day for remembrance. And to remember the sacrifices that were made, especially at the war like that. That was a tough one. So anyway, I hope you're having a great day and everything, and I will talk at you very soon. Love you.